I have visited a farm-to-school program in Sunnyvale, and I would think that there's a lot of value to looking at getting people connected with how our food is grown, maybe creating a food source for our schools that would then be able to be something the kids helped grow and then learn about at the same time. So there's many places, of course, I'd like to see some of our, well, we'll leave it at that.
Well, I have a long wish list. Absolutely, co-curriculars, extracurriculars need to be supported, but if we win the lottery in November, I would take the question back out to the community, because what we've have done in the last 4 years is every time we've had to cut, we go out to the community and we ask them to set a priority list. And so over the last 4 years, we've learned to do without certain things. So I would imagine that many of our priorities have changed as we've learned to do without. I would like to see extracurriculars, co-curriculars come back, elementary, middle school, high school, fully funded. But we also need support in the classrooms. We have paras that have been let go and laid off. We have custodial staff. We're at bare bones with our custodial staff, so it's important that we keep up our facilities as well. So again, I would just take that question back out to the community and ask them to set the priorities. Thank you.
I've been waiting for this, waiting for that money to come in for a long time on the board. One thing, again, as some of my other board members said, candidates have said, co-curricular and extracurricular activities, arts, athletics, you know, they help with critical thinking and so on. So that is one of the things I'm looking to fully fund. One of the things also I'd like to see is smaller class sizes return to the classroom. As a teacher, I knew when I had 33 classes and if it went down to 3 students, 30 students, oh my gosh, it was a big help. If it went down to 27, it was a big help. I just can't imagine how difficult it is now for those teachers who had 20 to 1 at one time, now going to 30 kids. And plus some of their schools were built when they were at 20 to 1, and so the classrooms are really small. Also, I'd fully fund our adult school and our programs for the community, because not only do we need to help the kids, but we also need to help their parents help them. So I want to institute more community or help for the parents, adult school, and so on. And also, again, the support staff. Without support staff, we wouldn't be able to do, teachers couldn't teach, administrators couldn't administer. We need everyone to participate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll start with the next question with you. Okay. New Haven's test scores have been fairly stable. What policy strategies can you suggest to further improve student academic achievement, especially for groups of underachieving students?
Policy strategies can we suggest? So the first thing I'd like to say is I would like to emphasize how impressive the advancements that we have seen are given the cuts that we've had. Things like the increased class sizes, which is definitely something that would be good to fix if we did have more funding. But policy strategies, the first one that comes to mind is the one that I already mentioned, which was the AP, opening up the AP exams to all students. So beyond that is something that I think we need to look at staff to do some recommendations. I mean, we have, again, the first thing I would say is that we need to expand the programs that we have.
Okay.
Well, that is the primary function of the school board, is to set policy. And you know, right now we have many policies in place, and I think just the constant review of those and the changing educational environment will continue to support our students in achieving. It's such a difficult question to really answer because we have to abide by state standards, No Child Left Behind standards, and any other standard that you can throw out there. Our teachers are asked to do a lot more in the classroom and meet standards in the classroom with less resources and support systems. So, you know, just again, creating policies that are going to support our primary goal here, and that's to provide quality education for our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. New Haven's test scores have been fairly stable. What policy strategies can you suggest to further improve student academic achievements, especially for groups of underachieving students?
Okay. Well, again, that's our job, to create policies, and I think we are doing really good with reviewing them and so on. What I'd like to see is a strengthening of policies that will treat the causes as opposed to symptoms. Do interventions for kids before they get into trouble. You know, a kid who was getting B's now all of a sudden is getting C's and D's. Catch that early and before they start getting into F's. Also, I'd like to get more policies in that will, and get the personnel in that will help kids feel more welcome in school. Sometimes the people at the school district are the ones that are the stable adult in their life, the one that they see every day, the one they spend most of their time with. And so I'd like to see them, you know, some in-service training and so on, to get people to acknowledge the kids and make sure that they feel welcome in school. Also, something that I do at NASA all the time is make kids think that they can actually do other things. Expect more from them. We have kids who would never have thought they could work for NASA or do anything robotics, but we are now starting robotics teams in those places, and those kids are getting excited. So, thank you.
First thing I do is throw this No Child Left Behind out the window. I mean, this is a problem right there. It's the system. It's not our kids. It's not our teachers. It's the system. Find out the kids who are not, if they're coming to school or not, and why not. Are those the ones that are unachieving because they're not coming to school? Find out the reasons why. Maybe a divorce. Maybe a foreclosure. And quit the double talk. When you tell a kid he's proficient, you're telling the kid he's 2 grades below. Come on, speak straight to these kids. Be straight. When you say a kid's advanced, you mean that the kid's at grade level. Come on. This is a bunch of jive, man. I am. Anyway, bottom line is this. There is a program I would like to implement, and that's called the Manna program, and that is what the Jews were fed during their desert. And we could feed our kids not only in body, but in their spirit, where basically they use algae to make food. They could take it home if they don't have food at home. They could eat it before they drink it before they come to class or afterwards. It would bond the kids together. For me, it'd be a spiritual deal because that's what we're selling. We're selling a spirit. We're selling an attitude. And I mean, you all been in situations where it looked like we're down and out, but your spirit was lifted and you made it through. I'm selling the American dream. Are you buying it?
Okay, this is an interesting question. Ms. Matthews, we'll begin with you. Okay. Do you think that student test scores should be used as part of teacher evaluations? What other methods should be used for evaluations?
Well, first of all, I don't think that should be the only tool that we measure our staff. We don't measure our students by one measure. We use multiple measures to measure the progress of our students. I don't necessarily agree that we should use student test scores in the assessment of our teaching staff, simply because you've got apples and oranges every single year. So you may not have the same subgroup of students that you did in the previous year. So if you're matching up that data set, it's apples and oranges. But I do think it's important that we assess our teachers. I'm not quite sure if there's any one tool that will do that efficiently and accurately. Certainly, it's a question that a lot of people have asked and want an answer to. And I think we owe it not only to our staff, but to our community and our students to come up with something that measures our teaching staff and in relation to our student achievement.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure.
Yes.
Do you think that student test scores should be used as part of teacher evaluations? What other methods should be used for evaluations?
Okay. First thing I'd like to say is that teaching is an art. Anyone who's been in the classroom knows that it's always different. You can't always quantify everything. The little nuances here and there make your class successful or not successful. And those things are things that you can't always test or evaluate with a test score. As Ms. Matthews said, kids are different. One group is different from another. And so as a teacher, part of being that artist in the classroom is you adjust. You work at making your classroom setting fit the kids that you have there. If we did test scores, it's actually, if it's implemented throughout the state, it's fundamentally unfair. We have communities that are better well off, or much more well off than us, and there are communities that are much that fare far less. If you have those kids in your classrooms, is that how you're going to test your teachers? So multiple measures. We have to do a lot of different ways to evaluate a teacher. We have to train our administrators so that they can see what a good teacher is, and then do evaluations based on that, because some test scores are not the whole thing. Thank you.
Please tell these good people I didn't pay you to ask this question. We all know about Deline Easton. There's a school named after her. The reason why that she got to be superintendent was because people like me, people like Mike, and people like Carmen put our careers on the line at AC Transit to give her the material she needed to make a deal with Willie Brown, and she sold us out. She rubber stamped 30,000 teachers as being certified, and they weren't. Now, she should have educated them, but they didn't do it that way. This is what they think about our children. Again, where we got to go back is the basis. Bottom line is teach the teachers how to teach. What's so hard about that? And then you test the kids on how they learn. This is not rocket science. Come on, do you care about the kids? I hear all this noise up here, but I don't see it. Please, think about what I'm asking you. You may not like me, you may not like my attitude, but the thing is, find the answers and then present them. I will willing to work with you, but I'll be darned if I'm going to put our kids in harm's way. I'm going to lie to you. I'll look you right in the eye and tell you I'm providing a first-rate education with your tax dollars while I'm committing fraud. I'm giving you false information. I'm slandering your kids by saying your kids are stupid because they didn't pass the test. And then I close down your school. That's discrimination.
Okay. I absolutely think that we need to figure out a way to assess our teachers, although I would not use test scores as a sole metric to do that. I was interested in listening and reading about what happened in Chicago in the last few weeks, and thought more about that and was reading about that. And one of the metrics that I heard about was I think they used the term algorithm to create an assessment for teachers that's very, very complex. And it includes multiple measures, which includes testing, but not just one test. And it also includes other ways to assess advancement, children are vastly different, one from another. And so they're going to learn things at different rates, and they're going to learn things